Welcome back, you guys. We are here today with the RX-8 project, and since our last visit, I was able to go to AutoZone and get this battery warranty out. So we're going to put the battery in the car, we're going to turn it on, crank it, see what happens, and see if we can figure out what is going on with this car. The guy that sold it to me told me that it needed an engine because it had blown apex seals. I don't necessarily doubt that's the case, but I want to make sure before we spend the money on an engine. So step one to any major diagnosis is get a second opinion. So in this case, my opinion is a second opinion. So let's dive right in. So first thought is this car is not built for tall people. Second thought is this thing? This has got to go. So let's start with that. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we can actually kind of see what's going on here. Let's go ahead and turn the key on and see if I was lied to about the mileage. The first thing to notice here is that is 85,138, not 84,000, but whatever. 85,000 miles. Doesn't really matter that much. It's still mid-80s. At this point, it's time to give this thing a quick crank over. I want you guys to be able to hear as best you can what this sounds like. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this lapel mic. That way, you guys can try to get a better idea of what this thing sounds like when we first crank it over. I'm expecting for it to sound like no compression, but let's find out. Okay, first crank, neutral. Always give it that wiggle. And here we go. That actually sounds kind of promising. I think we're gonna give it a little bit of gas and see if we can get this thing to run. Hey, it runs. Does not want to idle. We've got a flashing check engine light. And we're smoking out the exhaust. Check engine light's flashing, and we had a radiator coolant light. So I think we're turning this thing off and check the codes. Okay, well, not gonna lie, that surprised me. I didn't think that was gonna start. Yeah, I really didn't expect that. So at this point, we're going to plug the scan tool in, see what the codes say. It's got a flashing check engine light. I'm guessing we're gonna see a misfire code, and we're just gonna dive into this thing. And if this thing doesn't need a motor, then we just scored a sweet car for a sweet price. So let's dive in and check. Although based on how much blue smoke was coming out of the exhaust, we're burning a lot of oil. So that's never really good. So let's grab the scan tool and see what we can find. All right, so we're working today with this Snap-on Ethos. This is my personal scan tool. You can pick these things up for about $1,000, give or take, and they work really well. And this is a great tool for kind of more your advanced DIY type people. Engine code's 0. I think we're gonna go ahead and fire this thing back up and see if we can get it to actually tell us what's going on. We'll go into engine, see if we can pull some live data for when we start this thing. Let's fire this thing back up. Battery voltage is coming up, we're good there. Burning a lot of smoke, that was a lot of crank time. We've got a flashing check engine light. Let's back out of the scan tool and check into our codes here real quick. See what we got. Got a low coolant light on the dash, so we definitely don't want to run it for too long. I suspect this thing got hot. So we're setting a P0300 code. Not sure which rotor that's going to be. So we got a misfire and an O2 sensor heater circuit. That's not going to cause a runnability issue. Obviously, we've got a drivability issue, but this thing does start and run, which is kind of surprising given the overall condition of it. It's definitely not happy, so we're going to need to dive in and figure out why it's misfiring like that. Okay, so we're over here in mode 6 OBD2, and we're looking at misfire data, and it's only going to set misfire data cylinder 1 and cylinder 2 because those are going to be rotor 1 and rotor 2. So we're going to look at rotor number 1 and see what kind of misfires it sees. So let's see here, misfire current drive cycle 4,572. So we've got a problem in the front rotor, and then let's see what the back rotor has. And it looks like we've got, wait for it, 176. So not great in the back, but the front's definitely our main issue with that. Okay, so that was like super, super unexpected. I did not expect this thing to start. It does start. It's got a long crank time. It takes a long time for it to build up enough RPM to actually fire. I think there is probably still something seriously wrong with this, even if it is just, it's only running on one rotor. But the question is it a compression issue or is it not a compression issue? In any event, that's everything I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you want to see this build progress, definitely drop a subscribe. There's going to be a whole lot more coming on this car. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.